Home is supposed to be the place where you're loved, nurtured, and occasionally chastised. For the first 5 years of my life, I lived in just such a home, one I shared with my mother's oldest sister and her husband, who had joined the great migration north to Philadelphia in search of a better life. I had my own bedroom in the 4-bedroom row house they owned, a closet full of pretty dresses, and plenty of toys. Our whole bathroom had a porcelain tub with hot and cold running water. Each day after dinner, my aunt would give me a nickel, and I'd walk to the corner drugstore, climb up on a bar stool at their soda fountain, and order a vanilla ice cream cone. They told me that if I worked hard, I too could have what they had and more. The summer of 1951, when I was 5, my school teacher mother dragged me back to Sumter, South Carolina, the small town where I was born and where she still lived under the stifling rules of Jim Crow segregation. She immediately set about teaching me how to survive in a segregated world, just as she had taught my 3 older sisters. Where I'd once been the cherished only child in a middle-class family, encouraged to be heard as well as seen, I was suddenly one of 5 fatherless children living in a shabby 3-room shotgun house annexed to a 1-room general store. Life was as challenging inside that home as it was outside. I shared the bedroom with my 3 sisters. Mama and my baby brother, who was born a few months after I came home, slept in the living room. My sisters seemed satisfied with our home. It was all they had ever known, but I knew better and challenged everything, from the unfamiliar neck bones, pig's feet, and field peas we ate, to the tin wash tub my sisters set up in the kitchen for our weekly baths. There was never enough money for basics, let alone ice cream cones. Physical affection was also absent in my home. After teaching school all day, Mama's energy went to enforcing rules that seemed contrary to everything I learned in school. My 7th grade civics lesson, all men are created equal, didn't mean we'd get served after waiting our turn at the department store on Main Street. My protest after the white clerk bypassed us earned a swift blow across my cheek from my mother's hand. The blow hurt less than the indignity I felt when a white woman nearby muttered, "That's right, teach that girl to stay in her place." "But that's not fair," I repeated whenever I encountered yet another limitation imposed by my skin color. "Life is not fair," my mother would answer. "Your daddy found that out the hard way. For a long time, I prayed that God would change the world I lived in, bring my daddy home, make us a real family like the ones I saw on television. When he didn't, I stopped praying. My life lessons were hard and painful, but they were learned in a close-knit colored community where adults made me strong and resilient. My segregated school became my safe haven. There, colored teachers made me believe that seeds of greatness dwelled within me. They nurtured my natural gifts and drove me to excel. "You're just as good as anyone," they told me. I read books, studied, and planned my escape back to my real home, where my aunt had told me the same thing. A few months before my high school graduation, my mother suddenly died, setting me free to leave Sumter forever. With my diploma and an acceptance letter to Baltimore's Morgan State College in my suitcase, I boarded the Silver Meteor and returned north. Forged in a fiery furnace called home, I had become strong, and I was ready to tackle the world.